This is a Lego castle. It has a working portcullis and drawbridge, dungeons, kitchens, cottages, and not one, not two, but 3 Lego frogs. And this is 10 of them. I also have a ton of extra bricks, including 1,000 of this brick, 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 wrench stick, this brick, that brick, those bricks, these bricks. Take a look at all of these frogs. The plan is quite simply to build until I run out of pieces, and hopefully that should make a pretty big castle. Big enough, Jellybeans Cross, for my 2 cats, Ralph and Bella. I've previously built Chateau de Ralph, multi-tiered and much ignored, followed by Boxingham Palace, much larger but largely boring. This Lego castle therefore will complete the trilogy, and since my cats are generally rather fond of my Lego creations, insert footage of Bella headbutting every Lego set I've ever made here, I'm hoping I can trick them into actually liking this one. But then the weirdest thing happened. I laid the first brick, and as if by magic, the castle started building itself. I'm kidding, it was a painfully meticulous process, but with the initial footprint locked in place, building upwards was incredibly satisfying, and very soon the towers were joined together. So the towers are connected. I built a portcullis, although it's fixed in position, and I've added all these arrow slits and then used masonry bricks to give it some kind of texture. You can really get a feel for how it's going to look now. Next I built a dining hall, complete with a comically long table, Christmas decorations and a suit of armour, as well as a kitchen in one turret and a drink storage room in the other. The kitchen has all manner of cooking utensils, but only enough ingredients to make carrot sandwiches. Delicious! The drinks room sees barrels, bottles and goblets galore, and has a very long ladder leading down to the bottom of the castle. Now you might have noticed that both rooms have an umbrella, and the kitchen even has a mop and bucket in there. And that is because I forgot to build a roof. Yeah. Lack of roof aside, I was incredibly pleased with how this first section turned out, but it was about to get a whole lot bigger. First was a simple square tower, built in a spellbindingly spinny time-lapse that unfortunately stopped recording halfway through. Yup, how unsatisfying is that? This is what the finished tower looks like anyway, and I gave it a rooftop garden with a fountain, beehive, and tons of overgrown plants. I then built an identical tower, but this time with 2 rooms inside. The lower room is the castle treasury, overflowing with gold coins, gold bars, and solid gold frogs. The upper room is a study, including a globe, grandfather clock, cartographer's writing desk, and bookshelf. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and there's even a colony of seagulls nesting on the roof. How cute is that? So we're up to an entranceway and 2 towers, but I think it's time we build the biggest part of the castle, the keep. This section alone is already the biggest thing I've ever made from Lego. It's huge, and features a cat tunnel through the middle, as well as 2 rooms, an armoury on one side, and a bedroom on the other. You can probably tell from the cobwebs and bright green carpet that was outdated even in medieval times that the armoury hasn't been used in a very long time, and that's because the castle's occupants are pacifists. The bedroom sees all the normal furniture, plus the original Van Gogh Starry Night painting, a shelf of weird and wonderful artefacts, and a pen with twin lambs who are being hand-reared. There are then also these thatched cottage sections, adapted from the original castle, and 2 bell towers. Now I ran out of windows as I was building this, so I've had to use ivy to tactically cover the gaps, but other than that I'm delighted with it. It's enormous. It finally felt like I was getting somewhere, especially once I built the walls and connected all the sections together. But before the grand reveal, it's time for some finishing touches. I built stables, home to the castle's horses, plus a farm with cows, pigs, chicken and sheep, as well as lots of babies. I added crops such as corn, pumpkins and a hopeful prize-winning carrot, a market selling fresh produce and baked goods, and the Fountain of Youth, which appears to have worked a little too well. Then I built a dragon and placed him on the roof of the keep. He's incredibly fragile and flimsy, which aren't exactly desirable qualities when describing your castle's fierce defender. Next is probably the most important part of the entire castle, a time traveller. You see, being YouTube, some people watching will inevitably have felt the overwhelming urge to smugly point out that, for instance, teddy bears weren't invented until 1902, so how could one possibly be in a medieval castle? Well, it was a time traveller, of course. Or maybe they can't resist informing me that Van Gogh didn't in fact paint Starry Night until 1889, so I'm wrong. No, they're wrong. There's a time traveller. In fact, Van Gogh is the time traveller.
Verrassing!
Or that Christmas trees weren't a thing until the 16th century, nor were pumpkins or sweet corn grown in Europe, or carrots coloured orange, nor did they start growing vertically out of the ground like this until 2064. It was the time traveller, mate. Didn't you see him? For once, this video is entirely free of inaccurate— he's gone. Well, I guess it's time for that grand reveal then. It's crazy to think that something this big is made entirely from Lego. The cats are gonna love it. And now I think Ralph and Bella have been waiting long enough. Bella was first, wasting no time in rubbing up against the castle. And once inside the castle walls, promptly set about attacking the crowd of innocent villagers. She soon discovered the treats I'd put in the cat tunnel, and that it made a wonderful place to scratch. But the spikes on the portcullis proved to be an even more satisfying place to scratch her head. And the rest of her body. She then attacked the villagers some more, and sat down to admire her destruction. All in all, I don't think Bella was too impressed. I know the poor villagers certainly weren't anyway. But what would Ralph make of the castle? He immediately started rubbing his head on the portcullis, with a little too much force. Why must you destroy the things I love? He then headed inside to sit unamusedly in the courtyard before showing no regard whatsoever for the castle walls and hopping straight over them. On second thought, I don't want this to be a cat castle anymore. I want it to be a Chris castle. I repaired the damage, rescued the villagers, and enjoyed the castle for myself. The cats are more than happy with their very many other toys, and I was unquestionably delighted with mine.